Jim. We're in the start of the second half, and we have some surprising and also some disappointing teams this season. I'm gonna go in and first say surprising teams for me have been the New Jersey Devils and the Seattle Kraken. As for disappointing teams, I would say so far Florida Panthers and the Columbus Blue Jackets. What about you?
Yeah, for me, some surprising teams this year would be the New Jersey Devils, obviously one of the teams nobody really expected this year. I think they're ahead of schedule, as Tom Fitzgerald has stated. Jack Hughes, he's got to be in the conversation now for MVP for what he's doing. I'm going to throw in the Seattle Kraken as well, just because nobody really expected them either. They had a disappointing first year. Now they're sitting on top of the Pacific Division. Let's see what they can do going forward. Another team for me is the Boston Bruins. I know, everybody can say, oh, well, they're the best team in hockey. Yeah, but if you look at what they were supposed to be without for most of the season, with Brad Marchand injured, Charlie McAvoy, Grzelcyk, and the fact that, what Pasternak's doing, what Pavel Zacha's doing, and they're leading the way. I mean, that's unbelievable. And then to me, throwing in the Dallas Stars and Winnipeg Jets, they're really not sure as well. And as for disappointing teams, give you the Blue Jackets. I think more was expected with the addition of Johnny Gaudreau and Patrick Laine. The Ottawa Senators too. I think they should have been competing a little bit more than they are. Detroit Red Wings. And throw the Calgary Flames in there, considering the trade with Florida. I think people expected more out of Jonathan Huberdeau and Mackenzie Weegar. And now they're on the outside looking in.
Those are good ones. I did thought about the Calgary Flames. But yeah, Detroit Red Wings, I'll put them, I'm like iffy. I'm like in the middle with them. But I do like their future. So I'm looking forward to see what they can do in these next few years. I believe in Steve Yzerman. He's a winner. He's a champion. So him working in that front office, I have faith in him. I mean, look what Joe Sakic is doing with Colorado. Even though the team is not as the same as last year because they've lost some pieces, but I feel that once they start getting healthy, I won't count them out coming April time.
Yeah, I don't think they expect, Detroit. I think they have some moves to be made with the deadline. And let's see, the big thing is going to be Dylan Larkin. Can he get a contract extension, or is he going to be traded? I know Steve Yzerman likes to keep things, a certain way. We saw when he was with Tampa, Steven Stamkos tested free agency, and then he came back and said, okay, this is the offer. This is the guys I want to be with. Jacob Vrana is probably going to be brought out. Detroit still has some work to be done, but I think they can be there and be competitive. But the problem is the division that they're in, with Toronto and Tampa and Boston not slowing down. Buffalo's better. Florida, let's see what they're going to do. And I agree. I think Florida is definitely a disappointing team considering the trade that they made. Let's see if they can get back in the playoff mix, because right now they're battling teams in the Metro and not the Atlantic anymore, because we know those top 3 teams are set.
And the second season is up to a solid start. The Devils had a 4-1 lead, and the Canucks came back and rallied to tie. But then the Devils, they took care of business in overtime, so they still remain hot. And Matthew Tkachuk, I mean, he had an unforgettable night with 5 points, and he did it against Tampa Bay. So, I mean, we're seeing a solid start from the second season. But as you know, every year, especially in the second half, there's always that team down the stretch that just catches fire. So my question to you is, if there's that one team, and it's going to be a tough one, and if there's just one team that you have a good feeling that will have a successful second half of the season, which one will it be?
Well, you could think Florida, because they definitely started off well. Tkachuk carries over from his all-star performance, 5 points against Tampa. I think, to me, a team to watch is going to be Colorado, and let's see how quickly they can catch fire, because they have a chance to win that division still, in my opinion, especially if Landeskog's going to come back. Let's see what moves they make. They're playing very, very well before the break, and I think that's a team that you're going to want to watch to see what they can do. There's a lot of guys coming back from injury, and, Colorado can go on a run with that goaltending, and I think they're going to do well in the second half of the year. Another team maybe to watch is see if Edmonton can keep things going as well before the break. I like the Oilers. Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl and Vander Kane, all those guys. I think Edmonton's going to make noise, but I think two teams specifically to watch are Florida and Colorado. Let's see if they can make some runs.
I definitely have Colorado and Edmonton, and it's funny because I'm wearing an Edmonton Oilers jersey, but it's Wayne Gretzky, so I had to get the gray one. But Connor McDavid, he's my favorite current hockey player in the game right now, and they have the pieces right there. They just have it. It's all comes down to consistency. Consistency is everything in sports. So Edmonton, I mean, I'm rooting for them. I feel like they're that one team that can knock off Colorado if they play their cards right. But yeah, I would say Colorado and Edmonton could be that five-power team in the second half.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think those two teams definitely can watch the second half of the season. I agree. The Oilers with that firepower, I think defensively they just still need to lock some things up, and with goaltending, and I think they'll try to add at the deadline with a defenseman. Let's see if Colorado adds, because they need to add at the second line center. Now, again, it all depends on Landeskog if he comes back and if he's on LTIR, and you go from there. But Colorado's definitely a team to watch. Let's see if Buffalo can keep things going over in the East. They're going to be battling with Florida. It's second half here. Like you said, New Jersey had a nice win in overtime to start things off. The Islanders got to continue their ways with Bo Horvat in the lineup now. So Seattle's now on a East Coast trip, 5-game road trip. So let's see what they can do. It's very exciting now that hockey's back and we inch towards the trade deadline.